Recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
Gentleman's recognized.
I rise in support of H.R. 4076, a common sense bill. I'd also like to thank the chairman for always striking the proper balance between safety and the smooth operation of commerce. And the gentleman explained it very clearly. For many of us, especially in rural areas of the Midwest, propane is the fuel of choice for heating their homes. And to get an idea of what happened here, folks on a regular budget would spend about $600 to fill up their tank during the winter. They got a refill, got a bill, and saw that it was over $1,900 in some cases. The shock to them was one thing, but then the situation, as the gentleman so clearly stated, was exacerbated by the inability to deliver when we needed it. And propane, while there are many factors at work here, is not like other commodities in terms of it's not a nice to have thing, it's a necessity. And so the chairman's bill and this bipartisan piece of legislation addresses one of the issues here, making sure we have the trucks on the road to deliver the propane, making sure the supply is enough to start making sure these things are filled to the end of winter, and doing so in a safe manner. And I want to applaud the folks over at FMCA that did do what they needed to do in issuing some of the waivers. But the gentleman is exactly right. A 30-day waiver is not long enough. Winter is still deep in the Midwest, and we don't need to have the waiver expire on March 15th, go through it again, have the uncertainty. So this piece of legislation simply does as the gentleman stated. It allows some exemption without sacrificing safety to allow for the movement of propane into the markets where it's most needed, specifically the rural Midwest. These trucks are coming from Texas. Keep the people on the road, keep the trucks running, keep the propane tanks full. As those things start to happen and the market starts to stabilize a little bit and the prices will come down, I do think the gentleman hit on a bigger point here. The infrastructure for the delivery of propane is something we need to look at. This is a short-term emergency measure that will address the problem this winter. We need to look further down the road on some of the long-term solutions on this. So I urge my colleagues, support this common sense piece of legislation, support it for all the right reasons, and then join together as we move forward to look at some long-term solutions. And so with that, I would reserve the balance of my time, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Well, first I want to thank the gentleman from Minnesota for